Patriarchy, Capitalism, and Colonialism. Today, my guest is going to be Wesley Luster, who's an artist out of Oklahoma, but he lived up in Porina for a bit. So let me just invite him to the chat. Hey, hello everyone. All right, I just invited you, Wes. So hopefully that'll get sent to you right now. There we go. Could you hear me?
Oh, I hear you perfectly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Cool, perfect. All right, so I'm just going to get started with our little prayer that we do, and then we'll get started on the questions that we do. Cool. And then
Sounds
for
good.
everybody that's just joining me, this is Burn the Wagon, a podcast for natives to burn the wagon that is patriarchy, capitalism, and colonialism. So today I'm just going to give a little prayer before we get started. So I just want to send love to anybody out there that's suffering from domestic violence. I want to send love to anybody that's suffering from mental health issues. I want to send love to anybody out there that has gone missing or has been murdered. I want to send love to anybody out there that, or actually, my fault. I want to send love for you guys for being here today. And also, I want to send love to Mother Earth for allowing us to all be here overall. So today, my guest is Wesley. So let's get this started. A little intro about yourself, who you are, where you're from, what tribes you're repping, and then we'll get started on the rest of the questions.
All right, man. Well, again, I'm Wesley Luster. Good to meet everybody. What's up, chat? Um, I am originally from Oklahoma, so kind of Midwest city, Spencer. Got some family land in Guthrie. Kind of grew up, born and raised here for about 20 something years before I ever moved out to Point Arena. I actually moved to Oakland after I graduated from Oklahoma State University. And I was down there for 2 years before I moved up to Point Arena.
Okay, and how did you even find out about Marina?
Actually, it was through a love interest that I had at the time who had roots up there. So it was kind of like through a roundabout way. I've been going up there and kind of making contacts with some of the grows and things that were going on up there, some of the people. So it just so happened that I would get plopped in that small area. You know, it's such a
Hell yeah.
small little pocket.
So in Oklahoma, did you grow up on the Reds or no?
No, I didn't. No, I just
Okay.
grew up kind of on mainland.
Okay. And
Um,
what tribes are do you know or not? It doesn't matter. I just like to ask.
yeah, at least I know on my dad's side there's Cherokee, and then on my mom's side it's Blackfoot.
Okay. Right
We're
on.
small percentages, but I took my 23andMe and it gave me like a 12% native. So I'm assuming it's like split up between the two somehow. Maybe 6% on each side.
Yeah. Okay. Right on. Because you got is that your art right behind you?
Yeah, this is my piece right here. It's called
Awesome. Yeah.
Keys.
And I try to post and let people know the art. You're an artist, so like hopefully get you some commissions, get you some sales, man. Because that shit is dope.
Thanks, man. It takes,
Is
to
is
put on
that
a piece.
is that what you went to school for in Oklahoma at Oklahoma State?
I went to school for biology, man. So I got a bachelor's of science.
Wow. Okay.
So that's
Okay.
the only reason I was able to like teach. And when I got to Puerto Rico, one of my main jobs was substituting. So I really value my freedom. So I set up my life in a way so I can say, the teachers call me up, hey, can you sub for me? I can say yes. I can say, oh, I got something going on. You have to find someone else. It's like that perfect freedom. And they really needed subs up there. So it was kind of like if I wanted to work, I could work.
You work like probably 5 days a week as a sub, dude, up there. I mean, like
Oh, yeah, for
they're
different teachers.
yeah,
Oakland works
absolutely.
3 months in a row, different teachers, full
Wow,
time.
that's crazy. Somebody said those some scientist glasses. Can you tell?
I know, right? I'm like, looking at it like, what is this scientific method that we're gonna take?
All right, so let's get into your art. When was the time that you started drawing, or who got you into art?
Well, honestly, I was just having this conversation with my family the other day. So we had a family get together, and my big brother, he had this drawing of Spider-Man like pasted to the outside of his door when I was growing up. And I was like, man, it was so clean. The lines were amazing. Like, you could see the fingers. And later I found out he traced it. But at the time, I thought he just had. I just like, dang, you're dope, brother. Dang, Thomas,
Man, he
that's
got
fire.
skills.
He's got skills. This is fire. Oh my God. So, from that point on, I was always trying to draw little things, some of my favorite cartoons, what have you.
And did
So
your
over
brother
time.
continue to draw too, or?
Nah, I mean, he was kind of into other stuff, but that's just maybe something he did offhand, and maybe I would have been drawn, maybe I wouldn't have, but that was definitely something that kind of pushed me because I just thought that was so cool. Like, man, I want to do something like that. I want to draw some hands that look as clean as those. Like,
That's dope. That's pretty cool, man. Your brother inspired you, and did was art a big throughout your whole life, or is it just kind of on and off?
no, it was constant. So I was always either a pencil, piece of charcoal. In 2014 is when I started painting. I was born in '93. So, I've always was drawing in class, doodling up to that point, but, drawing more complex stuff up to that point. And then 2014, I got myself into this painting course. You know, you weren't supposed to just enroll yourself in this shit, but I did. The teacher was like, "Who are you? What are you doing here? You're supposed to take this class, this class, this class." So she was like, "You know what? It's cool. You got yourself here. Let me see what you can do." So she let me stay the first day of class, and I painted some stuff just offhand, and she was like, "You can stay. You ain't gotta go."
Wow, that's super dope,
So
man. I can't draw for anything. That's cool. And you got is it all watercolor? Because is that what you use, right?
this one's acrylic, but I really like to use oil paint.
Okay, is that your favorite?
Just
That's what I was gonna ask. Is like
yeah.
what's your favorite?
Oil is definitely my favorite because it takes so long to dry. I can just blend for days and days and days.
Okay. Do you have obviously this is probably super hard, but what is one of your favorite pieces that you've drawn yet to today?
Honestly, coincidentally, the one that you shared,
Oh,
as
really?
as the story was, the native with the bow, and he's like, "There's a big white spot where you should be sitting on something." So I named that one like no stone because it took me hella long. It was the first piece that I really sat back and was like, "Dang, like I can really do this."
Wow, that's
So
and for the Instagram, do you have a website too, so people can go check out your art and possibly buy something?
I do have a website, but it's not really set up for you to buy. It's more so made for you to contact me. So honestly, the best way if you want a commission, if you see what you like, if you like what you see, go to my Instagram and just contact me, send me a DM.
Cool. Hell yeah, yeah, yeah. Because I definitely want people to hit you up, and I'm gonna definitely get. We're gonna definitely get a burn the wagon collab with you for sure.
Yeah.
I actually need a third logo, so or a third sticker I'm looking for, so I can have a sticker pack. So that can be
Oh,
something soon too. Yeah.
absolutely. I do graphic design, digital artwork, NFTs. So if anybody watching this needs NFTs to collect, I make them.
I don't even
Got
know.
through with those.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know what the hell they are. I
Well,
know
you
it's
don't
just
have to get
art,
into it
and I
right now.
know, and I'm probably not even close to like being right. But like, is it like, so the artist makes the full amount of money, right, from it? If each time it gets sold or something, I don't know.
No, well, you could set it up that way, but most people, you make 100% of the sale the first time, and then every time it resells, you get 15% or whatever percentage you sell on it. But it's normal for people to put 10, 15%. So,
Okay,
which is dope. If people really start collecting your stuff, if someone buys it for like, $200,000, 10% of that's still 20 racks. So, like,
and
that's
have you done any like murals or anything like that, or are you just strictly on canvas?
he recently's been on different media, but like mainly canvas, board, metal board, wood board. But I was doing murals in the past when I was in Oklahoma.
Okay.
I worked with some pizza companies and stuff, and had designed them characters and painted on their walls and stuff like that. But I
That
actually
must,
just
go ahead.
just got into a deal with a dispensary just around the corner. They've got a huge warehouse and a lot of space that needs paint. So, you know, I'm like in the process of booking a gigantic process. If we can send prayers up for
Uh,
that.
prayers for that for sure. Burn some sage. Many prayers. Everybody hopefully gets that. What's the name of the club?
Hmm.
I didn't even know that they had clubs out in Oklahoma. I didn't even know weed was legal out there.
Oh yeah, well they just we're still in that kind of medical
Ah,
legal area. So it's kind of like, you can't have a whole lot. You got to have a card, and you kind of it's not as open as it is in California. But we
you're in
come a
the
long way.
you're in the beginning stages.
Yeah, yeah. We you used to get locked up for like crumbs. You get locked up for a
That's
roach.
wild.
Oh, it was tight.
Um, that's a good progress though, to be able to have weed clubs, even if it's just for medical reasons, medicinal or whatever. That's a step forward. That's a step. Obviously California is just California, and it's just with weed it's kind of like lax, but free everybody locked up for little bits amount of weed, dude.
I'm saying, like, man, the first time I came to California in 2016, I was visiting a lot because I have a lot of family in Oakland.
Yeah,
But coming from Oklahoma again, the reality is you get locked up for a roach. So I went out there. We got pulled over or something. We were smoking in the neighborhood, I guess. Someone called the cops. So it was me, my big cousin who looks Jamaican, like a light skinned Jamaican with long dreads, and my sister who looks like a lot like me but a female. And so a cop comes up. Somebody called him, and he's check this out. I'm mortified, bro. I'm mortified. I'm thinking we're about to go to jail. Dude's like, first words out of his mouth, we're not I'm not here to trip about the weed.
that's
And I was
crazy.
still mortified. Actually, we were eating oranges. He got more mad at us because we were littering the what's it called? The rinds
And isn't it
than he was
biodegradable?
about the weed. Yeah,
Jesus.
that's what I was telling him, but he was
What
more
kind of
mad about the
neighborhood? It
littering
was probably a
than the
white
weed.
neighborhood.
It was somewhere. It was like a hill. You had a view, so it was, somebody was looking out the window, and
Okay, so let's go from moving to Oklahoma. Where are you from? Are you in a predominantly like, is it a city, or where you grew up, or is it like more like Point Arena? Because I was gonna ask the culture
it's like,
shock of moving from a place like Oklahoma to Point Arena, which is population 500.
yeah. Well, actually, it wasn't that big of a difference. Like Point Arena, I mean, it's slow because you really don't have too much going on there. But Oklahoma's like a sprawling suburb. We have little pockets of metro, pockets of city. But what's considered Oklahoma City is pretty widespread. Like you kind of have to drive like maybe half an hour, 40 minutes to get from one side to the other.
Okay.
Hmm.
So yeah. Did you is Oak? Because I've never been out into Oklahoma. Is because Ann Pointer is pretty redneck. Was that was that a change, or was it same type of people?
And then we already have someone in the comics, my cousin Jason, talking about OKC Dirt Reggie.
Yeah.
So the OKC Dirt anything really kind of explains what we have going on here. Just like you might see in Point Arena, someone with their Jeep, they might have gone wheeling, as I learned. People go wheeling out there. Out here in Oklahoma, we go mudding, and you might see somebody's Jeep covered top to bottom in this red dirt because everything is. Um, when you should dig a little bit, all the earth is red. There's a lot of
Uh-huh.
oxides in the ground. So I think it's really grounding being out here. But, people are on that same kind of country vibe,
Okay. So it wasn't much of a
beer
change
trucks. Nah, nah.
Okay,
But,
yeah. 'Cause
you still have your pockets. There's there's less black folks out there. Like, that's mainly what I grew up with. My dad's black, my mom's like Mexican and mixed with other things. So,
we got
and
somebody
honestly,
mud and hell yeah. So somebody digs that mud and shit.
oh, they know. Messy bun stilista.
Yeah,
Oh, wait, messy bun stylista.
that's the homie that braids my hair. So she's the homie.
Yeah.
So it was like for me, because I moving from Point Arena and like I moved to Santa Cruz, it was crazy culture shock. and Santa Cruz is predominantly white. So like I was actually having a conversation with somebody earlier about this, and I'm tired of it. You know, it's just like white everywhere, and there's no real like culture here. And I spent the day yesterday in the Bay Area, and walking around Chinatown, walking around like places like that. It's like, man, there's like a sense of just like different people. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And like
Yeah.
when you were in the Bay, what was that experience like for you?
Well, I had family out there, so I had my cousin Raina and people like that who kind of grew up there. So they were showing me all the little pockets that, only locals really know about.
Yeah.
So I was really blessed and fortunate to already have that, like that sink into the network, the heartbeat of it all. Hmm.
I want to spend more time out there. It's crazy. Oh, I think
Out
are you
where?
good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah, you cut out there for a
In
second.
the Bay Area, because that was so much fun. All right, you good?
Yeah, I'm good. I hear you now. You said it was so much fun.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. I just didn't want to lose you. So yeah, let's. That was my next question, was like to talk about the culture shock of moving from Point Arena, or moving, and then what about going back? Was it like any different? Like, was it a hiccup, like
Going,
hard
we're going.
getting back in the groove of living somewhere else outside of Point Arena? Because I know every time I go back to Point Arena, I don't want to leave. I just want to stay there.
Yeah, I do feel that. Like I was living at first in Wallala, and then me and my partner moved to Point Arena. Went from Point Arena to Sea Ranch over those 3 of those no 4 or 5 years that I was living out in Point Arena. So I got really used to being able to go to the beach and just do whatever. I definitely miss my people for sure. Because being in Oakland, I got my cousins, I got other people. Like there's definitely a more of a diversity down there. Um, Even though being multicultural, I mean multi-ethnic, I've had to learn and figure out more. Oh, I got Mexican in me. I'm learning to speak Spanish. I'm gonna been to South America, or I'm out here. Shout out to Fire Girl. Uh, what am I trying to say? Learn
Are you
about my
ready to learn
native culture,
Spanish?
learn Spanish, learn about my native culture through my artwork because it was just a draw. Like, I kind of couldn't help but do the painting of the one you shared and some of the other ones that you probably seen. They're all on my page. But coming from Oakland and moving to Point Arena, I kind of lost that a little bit. But the land and the nature and what I built with the community there kind of made up for it.
Growing up, was there any like because you said your dad's black and your mom's Mexican. Was there any like points in your life where you're no, I want to identify as black, or I want to identify as Mexican, or did you kind of grow up kind of like, because a lot of people that are mixed kind of have these feelings of and I think we were talking about this, is like having a feeling of not feeling welcomed in each on each side.
Hmm.
Did you ever grow up feeling like that?
Well, I felt welcome in a way, but to me, the overreaching like narrative was I'm all of this stuff. I'm Mexican, I'm white, I'm black. There's some Japanese in there. I've got two different tribes, but I don't know anything about them. I'm all these things melded into one, but I'm none of it at the same time. I'm something completely new and different that's a culmination of all those things. But I'm not gonna be recreate. I'm not recreated. I'm not. And it's just interesting to be part of it, of all of it, but none of it at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm adopted, and growing up, I didn't know I don't know who my dad is, so I don't really ever know what tribe I'm connected to. Like you, I did the 23andMe, and it's 24% indigenous to America slash
Mm-hmm.
Mexico. But I grew up my whole life knowing and thinking I was a Pomo person. So that's that's how I feel inside my heart. So that's
Mm.
all I'll be able to tell people. That's the only experience I'll be able to like give people. Is that.
No, I
So
feel
that's
that.
what I. No, go ahead.
Man, I feel that because like my mom didn't know her dad's side of the family, and her mom had passed away, so I didn't really have too much aside from her two sisters. They lived in California. I'm in Oklahoma, which means my dad's family extensive. My black side of the family is huge, so I just have so many of them surrounding me. That's what I like. You said you grew up homo. I grew up in just black culture, so.
Oh, okay. That's the predominant. That's what a question I was going to ask too. Is like, did you grow up with one side of the family more or the other?
Yeah,
And you
definitely my
said,
dad's side of the family more.
okay, okay, that's interesting, man. Yeah, because like you said, we're like a lot of people nowadays are mixed. We're mixed. We're all these different type of people. We're a new type of person. So it's hard to say we connect. Like I 100% agree. I haven't thought about it like that. Like we're all just this mix of person that we're the future. You know what I mean?
Right? Do you have a ton of family?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I have a huge family. So
Hmm.
that's like my cousins raised me. My older cousin, like it was just a group of cousins that just I hung out with. I always wanted to be around. So a family's huge in where I'm from. About like
And you
fucking
understand. So,
50 million cousins and shit everywhere. And even today, we're going to places and like, oh, that's your cousin. What? And my mom's
like, oh
72
yeah.
and she's meeting people for the first time. She's like, oh, we're cousins. Like, what?
Yeah, I feel like that's what happens to us. Jason was talking about too many damn Lesters. That's what it is. Someone comes to me and they're like, "You got the last name Lester? Like, this is your cousin." Honestly, at this point, I'm desensitized. What's up, cousin? Like, what's up, family? Like, you here now? Like, grab a plate, sit down. Who are
Seriously,
you again?
seriously though, man, and it feels good, man. And being in Santa Cruz, I'm so far away from my family that like I kind of lost that connection. And I've been visiting home a lot more lately, and I just feel that, man. It just feels so good to feel that. Like I was with my sister yesterday,
Hmm.
and it was just amazing just to walk around the city with him.
Hmm. Yeah, man, because you don't share that connection with anybody else. You grew up with them, they kind of seen you through this and then through that. You may have like your own ticks and things that kind of set you off about each other, but that's that one person who's gonna be there. So
Yeah, and
unless they're just shit.
yeah, and then like right here, so I was adopted the first day I was born. So I didn't know,
Wow.
yeah, I didn't know anything else other than the first person my arms I was put in was my mom, who's a Pomo woman. So it's like
Mm.
I knew nothing other than to be a Pomo person.
Wow. Yeah, that's deep rooted. Then so you just here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm here, and
There's no kicking you out of the tribe. Like you're
no,
here. You've been here.
I'm not federally recognized, but like I'm not tripping. That don't mean shit to me.
No, I feel that. I think my native ancestors didn't sign any type of like thing apparently, so that we don't do whatever we don't can't get on any whatever roles or what have you, because they were just I guess some of the people that were like, nah, fuck this, we ain't signing.
Yeah, fuck that. So yeah, let's hop into so you talked about working with kids and being a substitute teacher. Let's kind of talk about that. Was it strictly obviously that's what you went to school for was to be a science teacher. Was it strictly you being a substitute for science classes, or were you able to get into some art classes too?
Well, actually, I went to school generally. I thought I was gonna do research or be like a biologist, like literally be in the research field. But then I kind of got it. I was always doing art, selling artwork during school, doing artwork during school, and doing it all at the same time. So by the time I got out, it's like, okay, well now I have this degree. Apparently, I can substitute all the way up to high school and apparently some parts of college. So when I moved to California, got my CBES, this test that allows you, certifies you to be a substitute. And then when I got to Point Arena and they heard I had that already, they're like, man, you can work at PA High. You can work at Arena Elementary. The reservation. You can work at Kashaya. You could work. What was that other spot up on the hill? Annapolis, Horicon. So they kind
Yeah.
of had me all over the place and for a long period of time. So I really got to connect in and sink in with who was there. Somehow everybody already knew me because of how I'd been in the classes, like treated their children or taught them something. They went home inspired or something and they came back like so many thank yous. It was wild.
Yeah, man, because a lot of the community I know growing up there, it's a lot of white teachers growing up. You know, and a lot of all of them were like amazing. A lot of them are super good
Hmm.
teachers. Like they were helpful. They wanted to be there. They wanted to help. You know, they wanted to teach. But I know I remember my junior year in high school, a lady named Yolanda Ressa, and she was from
Hmm.
LA. I can, you know, she was a Mexican woman, and I connected with her. And since went to her class, the shit shifted, and that's probably what's happening
Hmm.
with kids with you. You know what I mean? You're a person
Hmm.
that looks like them, they can identify with. You know, they might have the same kind of, not the same story, but the same type of backstory, same
Right.
place, you come from the same place. So it's also a question I was going to ask you too is that something that you would want to do? Because I'm sure there's a lot of reservations out there in Oklahoma or just Latin communities that need teachers. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean, I thought about it, but I am too much of a traveler to be in one spot. I think if one day I was able to gain enough reach to create like a organization or something where we pull together, we find the right people who maybe they're travelers too, so they do a rotation of different places and are paid maybe by grant or something. I don't know. That's how I am. I come up with ideas on the spot to try to fit the situation. But me personally, maybe every once in a little while. While I was there, I was really doing it hard because I was there and that was like what I was doing. But now I'm on a different track right now.
I see. You're on that art. You want to push your art. I see.
Hmm.
And that's what it's about,
And
man.
maybe through that I can give back.
Yeah, and you're an amazing artist. I think like if you have the feeling of like, man, I need to push this art. I need to, because that's what the thing is with this
Hmm.
podcast. I need to push it. I need to do as many episodes as possible. I need to interview. I need to make as many connections as possible because I want to make this a thing, and I want to make this. I want to grow this community because that's what I'm building here is a community. I want people to be able to reach out to you, be like, "Yo, like I saw you on this podcast. I want to get you to draw a commission for me." You know what I mean? Or there's
Right.
teachers that I've interviewed. I want people to be able to reach out to them and ask them questions about certain things, hopefully to help them with their kids or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Right.
I think it's amazing. I think you should definitely follow that instinct of yo, I need to push my art.
Right. I mean, see, look, while I was there right before the pandemic, I saw such a need in like the Native community. I had gone so far as create a program, like a music program for the Native youth. It's just like, get like maybe $5,000, $10,000 to get some instruments, some drums, some stuff like that, and then we could learn like five, six, seven songs over the period of like a month or two over the summer and then end it with like a recital at like the park in Point Arena or the theater would totally be down, or whoever, somebody, Dragon's Breath or something like that, who would allow us to do that, right? Well, pandemic happened. I'd raised so much money, but pandemic happened and we couldn't do it. But little pocket hits like that is so needed because they soak it up, man. They soak it up.
Yeah, and there's no besides sports, and I think sports up there is kind of fading out. There's no activities for kids, and up there it's like you're sitting in the woods, so the depression hit and the mental health like starts to just the mental health issues start to pile up, and there's nobody out there that talks about it. There's nobody out there that pushes mental health.
Right.
You know, advocating for it, and so yeah, it's there's definitely needs to be things like music, because I know growing up in a place like that, there was no motivation for things, and I think people like
Hmm.
you coming in and just being like, dude, like you're a cool looking person. So like I do music, I do art, I do all these things. I think you should too, and that's probably motivating. And that's what kids are super excited going home telling their parents about it, dude, because you're motivating
Right.
kids.
Right, man. I mean, some of my favorite moments teaching up there included like when a kid brought their bass to school and I brought like my soldering kit and all my stuff and like, their bass would, it was a little uh glitchy. And sometimes it
Uh
wouldn't
huh.
stay. So you just had to be resoldered. So sat in class, got it fixed, whatever, closed it back up, was playing Rage Against the Machine for the kid and giving back her stuff. So like, and then having my own instruments, and then all right, it'd be cool. We can have like a school jam session or like a class jam session after we do the work and do whatever, you know,
See, man,
chill,
and you never know
which
that
is
could
way
take
better
that.
than like the subs that they did have in there.
Man, I remember one sub, Miss Barsby. She was awful. Everyone, obviously, we were really
Like it's
mean to
like
her,
they're
but
somewhat
what happened?
right. It's like somewhat they're scared of the kids. It's like they're somewhat scared of the kids. Like they don't know how to handle them. Like maybe they're like thugs or something. And it's like I grew up in a place where people were getting shot like one street over, So when I come in there and see you guys talking about this and that, you got rap music playing and like it seems scared to the subs, but I'm looking at you guys like, yep, y'all are hard. Like y'all are all
That's a huge
softies.
thing too. Up there, people want to be like you said. People want to be from these places that people get shot from, like you're where you're from. But like in reality, that we've come from a tiny town in the middle of nowhere. We're not
And everybody
gangster. We're
and everybody looks out for each other for the most part.
exactly 100%. We're not.
You know,
Yeah, growing up, that was huge, and that was like it was a beef between like the natives and the Mexicans for some reason for the longest time, and it's just like for what? Like who?
yeah, y'all
What?
be. It's not like y'all don't interbreed. Like, what are y'all talking
Yeah,
about? Just be family at this point. We
yeah.
do want
It's
to wear
just
that armor of struggle.
that. Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. That's a good point, actually. I like that. But yeah, okay. So like, let's move into. Was there any life topics that you wanted to come up with? I know we kind of touched on a big one, moving out to Pornina from Oklahoma. Any any uh, any topics you wanted that I didn't bring up that you want to touch on? Any movements that you're really looking forward to, or any projects that you're looking forward to coming up? Um,
I mean,
Definitely,
well, that
everybody
pro.
go follow Wes.
Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. I was just telling everybody to go follow you. Check out your art. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, like I said, I'm really excited about getting this project done for this dispensary because I've been canvassing hard all these businesses trying to figure out who's in the need for artwork and what are they looking for. So this seems to be like a really good pocket because they have other walls they want to get done. So and the budget's at least 2 to 5 grand at the least. So and I already came up with a design for them, which is pretty dope. So I'm super stoked about it. If I get this done, I already know I'm not necessarily going to blow up, but it's definitely going to give me some good things on my reputation for as a muralist out here. So I've only been back for a couple of months.
Hell yeah, man. That's fucking dope, dude. I hopefully you get that. And have you shown them the design yet?
I did show them the design. They're really in on it. So honestly, I might even just like share it after this. So it's like on my page to be able to see. But we
Hell
talked
yeah.
about it. Straight up just went to the spot and met the owners and was just, you just start talking to them about what their needs are, seeing what their spot looks like. Okay, I see white walls here. I'm a local artist, muralist, blah, blah, blah. You know, here you go. Let's talk business. Here's my card. And
Right
you
on,
go
man.
from there.
That's really awesome. I hope you get it, and I hope you get more spots after that. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I hope you get some. I hope you get to come out to back to California, and we'll do this in person too. Because honestly, these first interviews with people are just the first interview. Eventually, I want to be able to travel to people and interview them in person. Um,
Absolutely. And look, man, I'm actually going to flight school, so that's like my secret way of for surely funding my art. because they're in such need for pilots right now. So I'm doing that right now, and the artwork is kind of like also a part of that. So it's like 50-50 right now. I'll be flying, bro. So I'll come see you. I'll
Dude, you're
be
the
out there.
second person in two. I met somebody yesterday that identifies as indigenous who wants to go and be a pilot. So, yo, that's wild. I think we definitely in all these types of spaces, in the spaces that you want, a biology, a major, out in the field, we need more indigenous and identifying people out there because that's the front lines of where we need to be is on protecting Mother Earth. And if people are out
Hmm.
there, scientists and biologists, in as indigenous people, it's the perfect spot, you know.
Right. And then honestly, one of the things I did want to talk to you, speaking of that, was I think one of the questions you want to ask me was about decolonization and what I
Oh
thought
yeah,
about that.
that's a question I forgot. Yeah, yeah. What's your definition of decolonizing slash land back?
I mean, so to me, that was such an interesting question because it's kind of far reaching. As far as it physically getting land back, I know it's possible, probably a little bit more difficult. Even though I know in Oklahoma there's some talk of maybe part of 3/4 to 40% of the land has been given back to the tribes under a treaty that said any new land will be given to the natives in Oklahoma. So Supreme Court ruled that just in the last like maybe 5 years. It's wild. But it has a mental component, decolonization. There's all these generational traumas that were passed down in habits, whether it be, drugs, alcohol, or, verbal abuse, sexual neglect, physical abuse. It's the habits and then what happens outside of that. When I'm no psychologist or a clinical person, but I've worked as a mandated reporter. So they do train us a little bit on the signs of it, what to look for. That being said, I was seeing a lot of it, and you be open minded and work with it. And at the same time, there's not a whole lot of compassion for that. It's like in school, there's sometimes you see some of the Native kids acting out or saying things that like, wow, more about like, maybe certain things you shouldn't. I had a kid make a joke about tweaking on maybe my third day, and I was like, wow, you're like 11, you know but it's just speaks to what you are exposed to at a young age. And some other kids might have just been like, "Oh, this is a bad kid, and you guys are bad," and they just leave it at that. But it's deeper than that. It's what you're around. Like you wouldn't be saying that as a young person if you didn't be exposed to that at that time. So that to me is one of the biggest decolonization things that's holding a lot of people back is those habits that you learned going through those traumas growing up, being in on a reservation and maybe feeling like you're being held back, maybe feeling like the challenges are too hard for you to overcome. And then there are people overcoming it, some people being laid
Absolutely.
back.
Yeah, that I 100% agree. Because yeah, every time back in the day, one of us would act out. It's just like we would get in trouble immediately, and it's not like, hey, what's going on at home? Is there something that's going on at home that you need to speak about? So
Hmm.
I 100% agree. There's traumas that are going on inside generationally that need to be talked about and need to be just literally let out. Like it's all being kept in and not talked about.
Right. It needs to be addressed for sure, like in
A
some
hundred
form of
percent.
fashion. And just the fact that, like, it's a multifaceted problem. It's not just one little area here in the res. Like, it's the fact that they're also out there so far out. The fact that the schools, I'm working in close concert with the principals. I hear a little conversation where it's hard to get new teachers, where you see the high turnover rate of teachers, which means they have high hopes, they come out, they can't stay, which means, they are trying to get used to the area and it's not servicing. They don't understand the what's happening here. So they have to be not indoctrinated, but they have to be exposed to it so they know how to react. But now people know how to do that. They just see it as bad. You shouldn't do that here.
Yeah.
What do you expect?
Yeah, man, that's a good point. Because growing up, we had to go to the school in Point Arena, obviously, but yeah, and a lot of times they would put like the res kids in like a class, all of us together, but it was like, and we had one per like a therapist that would come talk to us, but like it was never one on one. It was all as a group. Like, what are you guys going through? But
Mhm.
like as a group, we're not gonna talk about things.
No, because you have your own micro uh, hierarchy and social things you got going on in between you. You don't want everybody to know your business because they're gonna give you
Yeah,
shit about that or talk about it later. Like, you guys have your own little things. Like that's part of the decolonization too, is like, being in not in a small area but enclosed together, you do kind of like you start fights. You know each other from day one to day 400,000, you know.
yeah,
You're
and
gonna
it's
have your little issues like
yeah.
siblings.
And back then, nobody was at all like. We thought a therapist coming in was fucking hilarious. We laughed at it. Like we're not gonna talk about any of this stuff. But now, hopefully, that has changed. Because I see a lot of people pushing to go to therapy. People pushing, and this is huge in males too, is having
Hmm.
to be able to open up and drop that toxic masculinity and just be able to just be free with it. And because
Hmm.
there was no gender roles until Christianity and colonization came.
Hmm.
So that's the thing that I think we should get back to because the um, the hate towards the LGBTQ plus community in our communities is way too high, and I think that's another thing that needs to change as well.
Hmm.
All right,
It's all
man.
kind of
What's up?
it's all kind of connected. I said it's all kind
Yeah,
of connected.
absolutely. And then, like you said, it's all just like there's so many things that to talk about and so many things that go into it. It's hard to like
Hmm.
say this is how we should do it, and then that's how it's going to get fixed. Because I was speaking to
Hmm.
somebody the other day, and she said just because it's going to get back into our land stewardship, just because land will be given back to us, we're not saying it's going to be 100% like better. We just hope to take it towards a path of um, getting towards that way, so the generations after us don't have to deal with the what we're dealing with.
Yeah, it's a lot of work. You really do have to break apart those little nitpicky things. When I was subbing on the res, again, I was just seeing how well they know each other. Like the youth, they really know each other because again, since birth, been hanging out in the same streets, same areas, same parks, same school. You know, they know each
And,
other.
and so has their parents. You know what I mean? Their parents have grown up in that community, so it's like it's generations and generations of people being around each other, and that's what I miss
you
a
know,
100%.
and Right, and in a lot of ways that's really good, and it's really really good because they have each other. And then a lot of ways, there is some like bickering, so there's like not unhealthy communication habits that that need to be purged. You know what I'm saying? And that's part of the decolonization. Like we
You
just
mean
did
like
this.
yelling at each other, like when you're supposed to be having a conversation,
Oh yeah, totally. Like try to come to a solution. It's like going around in
and
circles.
they're just yelling at you. Yeah, yeah, we should probably just have a conversation, not yell at each other.
I know, right? And say
I
if you
agree
guys
with
are
that.
adults, you should be expected to do that. They're kids, so they're trying to figure it out, and I'm still trying to like, when they're kids, then they have these habits. It's just kind of like that's what y'all grew up around, so it's ingrained. But you still have a chance to kind of unravel it, a little bit if you're there consistently. I know I'm only there temporarily, so I can do what I can to kind of like drop the hints and the little nuggets of knowledge and what have you. But then they turn around and be like, "Oh yeah, that's why you peed the bed last night." Like, you're like what? Why'd you say that? Like,
Hey man,
y'all
you're
know.
planting the seeds for changing generational traumas.
Hmm. That's what I
But
tried to do while I was there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I really thank you and appreciate you for coming on, man.
Thanks, man.
And
Appreciate
good
it.
luck in those journeys of getting those murals, and hopefully they reach out to you and love the design that you got. Many prayers, many blessings your way. I really appreciate you coming on, man.
Appreciate it, brother. Shay.
Awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll be in contact with you and post this and stuff, and let you know. I'll post it to YouTube too.
Oh yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I've been happy to be here. This is awesome.
Awesome, no problem, man. Thank you very much.
Deuces.
Deuce. All right. Thank you, everyone that joined the live today. Definitely go give Wesley a follow. Check out his art. If anybody wants to join me in any of these conversations, definitely tap in with me. This is Burn the Wagon, where we're here to burn the wagon. That is capitalism, colonialism, and patriarchy. Deuces, and thank you very much for joining the live.